Good evening. Today is Thursday, January 16th, 2025. I'd like to call this meeting of the Auburn City Council to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Cuddy is excused this evening. Councilor Kent?
Here.
Councilor Overstreet Wilson?
Here.
Councilor Calarco?
Here.
Mayor Genatino.
Here, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silent prayer or reflection. Thank you. Please be seated. Public announcements. This evening we have two presentations. We're going to start with the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Proclamation.
Proclamation tonight from the office of Mayor Genatino. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to advancing equality, social justice, and opportunity for all, and challenged all Americans to participate in the never-ending work of building a more perfect union. His teachings can continue to guide and inspire us in addressing challenges in our communities. And whereas the King Holiday and Service Act, enacted in 1994, designated the King Holiday as a national day of volunteer service and charged AmeriCorps with leading the effort. And whereas on the 30th anniversary of the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, AmeriCorps remains committed to fulfilling Dr. King's dream of creating a beloved community. And whereas since 1994, millions of Americans have been inspired by the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to serve their neighbors and communities on the King Holiday. And whereas serving on the King Holiday is an appropriate way to honor Dr. King through service, and we can build stronger communities, expand civic opportunities, and foster respect for individual differences, serving this day can be an entry point into a lifetime of fulfillment, gratitude, and advocacy for change. And whereas the King Day of Service theme this year is Mission Possible, protecting freedom, justice, and democracy in the spirit of nonviolence. This reflects the urgent need to carry forward the legacy of both Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King by safeguarding the pillars of freedom and democracy through nonviolent action. Whereas citizens of the city of Auburn have the opportunity to participate in events throughout our city on the Martin Luther King Day, as well as create and implement community service projects where they identify the need. Now, therefore, James Genatino Jr., Mayor of the City of Auburn, on behalf of the City Council and citizens of Auburn, does hereby proclaim January 20th, 2024 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day here in the City of Auburn.
Thank you. With us this evening is the Executive Director of Booker T. Washington Community Center, Denise Farrington. Ms. Farrington, would you meet me at the podium?
I'd just like to thank everybody that was responsible for having us accept this, and I want to thank everybody, our board and our director, and it's such an honor to reflect at our years that we've had, and that we are honored to represent the principles of Martin Luther King. So I thank you guys.
Thank you for this honor. We celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day on February 13th this year. We are going to have our dinner called the Love Dinner at BTW, where the kids will be performing and celebrating and honoring his legacy. So, thank you for this honor.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you to your board members for being here as well. The second presentation this evening is we're going to honor the 27 years of service to the City of Auburn by Police Chief James Slayton. We do have a packed house here tonight. I thought maybe everybody was interested in local government, but you're all here to congratulate Chief Slayton. In attendance this evening, we have former Mayor Mike Quill, Cayuga County Sheriff Brian Skank, Cayuga County District Attorney Brittany Antonacci, Cayuga County Legislator Brian Muldrow, former Police Chief Gary Janata,
and the Superintendent of Auburn Correctional Facility, Tom Napoli. We also have many members of the Auburn Police Department in attendance as well as Chief Slayton's family. I want to thank you all for being here. At this time, I'd like to invite a couple people up to say a few words. I'd like to start with former Mayor Mike Quill. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's nice to pass through and say hello to everyone, all old friends. Thank you for the opportunity. Chief, right here, congratulations. In spite of us being related, no one really held it against you too much, but you've done a fantastic job. To be very honest, I never understood the job of a police chief. I understand the job of administrator in my background, kind of share that. Behind you is Chief Giannata. Gary and I were both chiefs at the same time, and just out of a clear blue sky, Gary would come over to the fire station. That would be my worst day of my life before he got there. Fighting with the union, fighting with City Hall, whatever the case may be. We had a cup of coffee and had a good friendship. And then for some reason, I just decided one day to go over and see Gary. And he would be in the same predicament as I was. He just needed somebody different to talk with. So worked with many police chiefs. But Jimmy, I didn't know you growing up. I knew your older brothers and everything. And so you say we were related. But I wish you the best, and if you head south, send some warm weather our way, and or you can see by the showing here today, everyone, you're well respected and well liked, so congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite up former Police Chief Gary Giannata.
Mayor Genetino, members of council, and Chief Slayton, I appreciate this opportunity to speak about Jim. And I had the opportunity to go to this then city manager and ask him if we could hire a police recruit. That recruit was Jim Slayton. Jim was not your typical police recruit. He was just a little bit older, but we didn't hold that against him. He had a lot of life experience. Went through the academy. It was not unusual to see Jim in the police station during the day, working out, running the stairs, keeping himself in shape, doing a good job. He did a good job on the street when he was an officer. He was one of our first school resource officers and did a tremendous job. What I can say about Jim that impresses me the most is he cares, and he shows that by taking the position he took. You can go to the police department, get a job as a patrolman, work your entire career as a patrolman. Not a lot of worries, take care of the city, take care of your calls, but when you start climbing the ranks, not only do you have to do that, you have to worry about the people under you. Mr. Geiger, you know this better than anybody. You have to worry about the people under you. When you reach the level of policing that Chief Slayton did, you worry about everybody. You worry about your department, the city council. It's a tremendous responsibility to undertake. I congratulate you on achieving that, because not too many police officers do. It's a very small group of people that reach that level of rank in a police department. I wish you well. I wish you would have stayed a couple more years. But I wish you well in whatever life brings you today. So enjoy it. You won't miss the 2 o'clock in the morning phone calls, I guarantee you that. But again, I appreciate this opportunity. Congratulations on your retirement. You had a great career.
Thank you, Chief. time, I'd like to invite up Cayuga County Sheriff Brian Skank. Sheriff Skank.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. I came tonight to congratulate Chief Slayton, but I want to say I really value the partnership that our agency has with certainly the City of Auburn Police Department and all the departments in the City of Auburn, but I personally really have valued the relationship that I've had with Chief Slayton. He and I actually came on within 6 months of each other to our respective departments, so we've worked together for many years in different capacities. And certainly now in the capacity that we've been in now, me as sheriff and him as chief, it's been a unique relationship, but I value that relationship and that when you get to the positions that we're in our agencies, we don't have too many people within our agencies that we can really bounce stuff off of or vent to. So I value the ability to reach out to, the chief and working together on certain difficult things throughout the course of the career, and sometimes just having a shoulder to cry on. So future Chief Androsco, I'm going to need your number, okay? So make sure you give that when we get done. But no, I've really valued the relationship. I think you've done a great job, Chief. Going to miss you. I wish you all the best in the future. I want to thank your family for sharing you with certainly the City of Auburn PD and our community. I know it's hard for our families in this business to deal with that in the roles that we're in, but I wish you all the best and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Sheriff. At this time, I'd like to invite up Superintendent of Auburn Correctional Facility, Tom Napoli.
Mayor, councilors, thank you for the invite tonight. First of all, I want to thank Chief Slayton and his staff for what they do every day for the city. We have a great partnership with the correctional facility and the staff and the chief. It makes it real easy for me. If I need something anytime, I could call him and he would have staff down there helping out. In the last couple weeks, we needed some extra security and they were down there all the time. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. It really, really means a lot to us. I've known Jim for a long time. I am envious of Jim right now. I wasn't envious of him 6 or 8 months ago, I'll tell you that. But we meet for coffee every once in a while at the diner, and it's nice to bounce stuff off someone else. He could tell me his horror stories. I could tell him my horror stories. He is a good friend of mine. I wish him the best in his future. And now it's going to be nice where I will be able to beat him on the golf course a lot more than I could before. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Duggar?
Thanks, Mayor. I didn't have anything prepared for this, so I apologize. But I did want to say just a few things about Chief Slayton. There's actually probably very, very few people in this room that are in the know as much as I am related to what goes on with Chief Slayton and the police department and all the issues that we deal with collectively. And I think sometimes the general public, sometimes even our colleagues, don't understand how much thought and consideration go into the decisions that are made day in, day out. That's a pretty heavy burden for a leader, but especially a leader in the police department. The day-to-day decisions weigh on you personally, they weigh on the perception of a department, they impact your family. It's a huge burden. And I will tell you, if you didn't realize it, that again, there is a tremendous amount of thought and consideration that goes into every single decision. Chief Slayton has done that with integrity and empathy. Thank you.
Chief, we do have a memento of appreciation on behalf of the council and the City of Auburn, but I have a few things I'd like to say first. Throughout your career, you have served the people of Auburn with honor and distinction, and you have made a positive impact on your department and our city as a whole. In your role as a school resource officer, you were instrumental in establishing the foundation for a strong and effective program that continues today. You took the position seriously and worked to keep our students and our educators safe. Just as importantly, you served as a positive role model and mentor for the youth of our community and worked to build positive relationships with them. You provided support and guidance to students facing personal challenges or at risk of engaging in harmful behavior. You were someone they could trust when they had nowhere else to turn. As a patrol lieutenant, you set the example for the officers you had committed to lead. Your experience as a field training officer for new police officers set a strong foundation for your later role as administrative lieutenant of planning and training. In 2021, you were appointed chief of the department, and for the last 3.5 years, you have led by example, always embodying the department's motto, expect excellence. You've made yourself accessible to the public. The phone was always on, the door was always open. During your tenure, you, with Michelle by your side, have shown up consistently for the community that you both have called home for your entire lives. Collectively, you have both made a positive impact. I want to thank Michelle and your daughters and their families for sharing you with us and for the sacrifices that they have made. Because when we choose to enter public service, whether it's police department, fire department, sanitation, city council, it affects our families as much as it affects us. For 27 years, you went to work every day and put your life on the line to protect us. On behalf of the City Council and the people of Auburn, I say thank you for a job well done. I wish you a long, healthy, and happy retirement. You've certainly earned it.
I'm going to read the presentation to Chief Slayton is hereby presented with a key to the city of Auburn for 27 years of dedicated and unwavering service to our citizens. Your contributions to the Auburn Police Department as a patrolman, school resource officer, lieutenant, and chief exemplified the department's motto of expect excellence. Appointed police officer January 19, 1998. Appointed lieutenant July 25, 2016. And appointed police chief July 17, 2021. On behalf of Mayor Genetino and members of the City Council.
You know me, I'd like to get out of here and not have to say anything, but after the nice things that people have said about me, I feel though I have to speak. I'd like to start out by thanking the city of Auburn for the past 27 years. It's been my pleasure to serve the city and the residents of this community. I'd like to also thank Mayor Giantino, Mayor Quill. You guys were great to work with. Your commitment to the city is like no other, and you always had support of the Auburn Police Department. I watched some of the stuff that Chief Janata had to go through over the years. I'm very fortunate that I didn't have a lot of that. I had the support of council and the mayor, so that meant a lot. I'd like to thank the current and many of the past council members because they played an integral role with the chiefs of the police department. For that, I'd like to thank them for everything that they do, because it is a commitment. Sometimes it's a thankless job. You get as many phone calls as I do sometimes, so thank you. City Manager Digert and Assistant City Manager Jenny Haynes, thank you for your support over the years. Who says fire and police can't get along? We obviously, we had our moments, but we always, at the end, the city was what our goal was. And we always did what's in the best interest of the city and its members. Jenny, best of luck to you in the coming years. All the other department heads, I'd like to thank them. We have a great team here at the city. It's not one department, it's all departments do everything for everyone else. But especially I'd like to thank Shelley Lowe and Teresa Adams. I relied on you a lot. You helped me a lot through the things that I had to do, made my job easier. And I've said this, I've stood there many times saying, I was able to use the resources at this city to get done what needs to be done. I didn't do this alone, and I'll get to the men and women of our department in a minute. Seth, if you're out there or you're listening, unfortunately, I'm going to take some time to get through this tonight. Every council meeting that Seth does a presentation, I time him. He's probably looking out to time me tonight, but I'll never get near his goal. So, but thank you for that. I'd like to thank former Chief Jerry Janata. You were right. You did hire me. You gave me a chance. I wasn't one of the young guys coming in. I was a truck driver before that. You took a chance with me. I'd like to think that I gave you the service that the city needs. And not only that, he hired me. To this day, I call him, and he's always answered the phone if I've had a question. And with his experience, 16 years as chief, you can ask him. I said, how did you do 16 years as chief? It's beyond me. So thank you for your service, and thank you for hiring me 27 years ago. Former police chief Sean Butler, I know he listens to these because he critiques me all the time and calls me. So I know he's listening out there. And Deputy Chief Roger Anthony, they helped me in my transition to be chief. Roger is just the most level-headed person you can deal with. We always went back and forth, met somewhere in the middle, and once again, did what was best for the city. So for that, I thank him. And now that I'm retired, maybe I can get within 10 strokes of him when we play golf. So that I need to work on. Deputy Chief Spengler, thank you. You've been supporting me the last year and a half, and I wish you luck the rest of the way. I always need somebody to lean on, somebody to talk to, and you have to have that sounding board, and he was that. Good luck to Chief Matt Androsco. I know you'll do a phenomenal job. We've come up through this together. You were a sergeant when I was a lieutenant on midnights. Your heart is about the size of this room. You really care about this department, and that's what the city needs, and they made a good choice in doing so. Use your members to the fullest and let them help you along the way. Do not try to lead this department on your own. It's a difficult job, but I have no doubt that you're capable of it. And Greg Gilfus, and that's one of the guys that I leaned on all the time. Whenever I need anything, I went to Greg. Don't worry, I'm not going through the whole department, so it won't be that long. But Greg, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Greg Gilfus, because just having somebody like that as a sergeant in the traffic division, he does so much, he wears so many hats. Thank you, Greg. You did so much for me, minus the Tahoe. All right? So, I'll be watching. To the men and women of the police department, past and present, I stand up here time and time again. You are the boots on the ground. You are the one that make this department work. It makes it run on a daily basis. So thank you. I've had an awesome career, and some of the men and women that I came up with have become friends of the family. My kids grew up with them. It's more than just a job. You do create a family atmosphere. So to them, I want to thank them for all they've done. Continue, stay safe, and I'll be watching from afar. And those that have retired, unfortunately, like, I don't know how you retired before me. I'm not sure how that happened. Smarter than I am, like Chief Janata said. Maybe that's it. But on Monday, I get to join you, and I'm looking forward to it. To the other agencies, obviously we spoke about the Sheriff's Department tonight. Sheriff Skank, you're right. We can't do this job alone. We rely on one another. Brittany from the Cayuga County District Attorney's Office. We're constantly bouncing stuff off one another. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your continued support, and you'll have a great leader to lean on moving forward. Knapp, I don't know what I can say about you, except that we had a meeting about about 2 years ago now, and Mayor Quill was there. And Mayor Quill had mentioned in that meeting at the prison, he said, if you ever need anything, just let me know. We'll get it done. 2 days later, Napoli called me and said, hey, I want signs out in front of the prison. We're having issues with the crosswalk. And I said, Nap, I'm not sure we can get that done. He goes, don't make me call Mayor Quill. Within 2 weeks, Nap had his signs out in front. So, thank you, Nat, for being a good liaison. We partner a lot with the correction officers. Two of my favorite things are Shop with a Cop and Random Acts of Kindness that we do. And when the members of the Corrections Officers Union got involved, it just grew. So I thank them for that. Thank you. To my family, thank you, thank you, thank you. They put up with a lot. Did good up until this point. No, I just won't look back. They put up with a lot over the last 27 years. Your late night phone calls, early mornings, home late, you name it. Michelle never wavered. Went to everything, went to a lot of things, gave up a lot of family time. She was there for the kids. She never complained. Behind me 100%. So I just want you to keep in mind, Michelle, when the golf course calls, I expect that same response. Okay, Nat, rounds take a little while. Okay, so I expect that. So thank you very much, Michelle. You were a shoulder to lean on. It's a tough call. You always lend an ear. Many people don't think of the wives or girlfriends or significant others of the members of the police department. They endure just as much as we do. I can only imagine how tough some of the days were. But I figured after 35 years of marriage, she got used to it. So at this point, what's the matter with a couple more? To my girls, Marissa and Elena, you both are turned into amazing mothers. I'm so proud of you. My only regret is that you both married police officers. I don't know how that happened, but you didn't listen. That's all I can say. Go figure. Thank you for all you've done. You make Mom and I pray. You make us proud every day. You gave us 2 wonderful grandchildren. My hope is that I will be around to spend enough time with them and watch them grow. As I always taught you, do the right thing. And you can go to sleep at night, and you can lay your head on the pillow, and you guys have so far done the right thing, continue to do so, and you will be rewarded. To my brother Fred, though, I can't leave you out, Fred, because I know I'd hear it. You're always there when I needed to call somebody to lend a hand. You support me my whole career. I look up to you as a brother. Thank you, and I promise to try not to call you while TMZ is on, like I always do at 12 o'clock when I had a 5-minute break, and I heard about it. So thank you. Again, I just want to thank everybody. I apologize if I missed anybody. There's so many important people in this room. But it's hard to sit there and thank everybody. So thank you for tonight.
Chief, the real gift was us scheduling this on a night where Chris Major couldn't make it.
Absolutely.
Council, are you agreeable to take a 10-minute recess? We'll be in recess for 10 minutes. Thank you. ready if you guys are. What's that? I'll call us back into order. We'll move on to the public to be heard.
At this point in time, we will open the public to be heard. Portion of the council meeting, residents are asked to state their name and address for the record. Please keep remarks to 3 minutes or less, and please observe commonly accepted rules of courtesy and decorum.
Thank you. Is there anybody wishing to be heard this evening? Yes, ma'am.
So my name is Pam Okosik. I live at 120 Chapman Avenue. And I still have a few more questions about the ambulance service that have never been answered. So the prior ambulance service that we had, it's been stated that the city of Auburn was so unhappy with the service, prior service. So if you guys were so unhappy with the service, then my question is, how did the city continue with that service from 2006 until 2020? And the city continued to re-sign with that service multiple times. So if you were so dissatisfied with the service, why did you re-sign with the service over and over again and extend the service from 2006 until 2020? Another question that I had was multiple people from the city and other agencies were personal friends with the director and the CEO. I never complained to them. And the other question I had was, I've looked endlessly for formal complaints that were filed with the company of that dissatisfied complaints, and can't find a single complaint that was filed against the company stating how dissatisfied you guys were with their services. So now that the council has approved yet another purchase for another ambulance, because we're so busy with our new ambulance service, it's been over a year now, at least. And I did some research and found the paper from the Citizen where a person from the ambulance service was interviewed. And it was from the article November 8th, 2021, where it was stated that the new service will be self-funded, meaning it has no impact on the taxpayers. Instead, when the people use the service, that is where the money for the service will operate from. So if this statement is true, how much of a profit is the ambulance service currently making for the city? How much of a profit? If it's so busy we need all these ambulances, how much of a profit is it currently making, or is it still majorly in the red at this point? Can anybody answer those questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing to be heard this evening? Hearing none, we'll close the public to be heard. Move on to the approval of the meeting minutes from January 9th, 2025. Do we have a sponsor? Councilor Kent, second by Councilor Overstreet Wilson. Any questions, discussion, or changes? Please call the roll.
Councilor Kent?
Yes.
Councilor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Councilor Calarco?
Aye.
Mayor Genatino?
Aye.
Carried.
City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. We are still accepting applications for a data analyst position for the Auburn Police Department. The position is provisional and no test date has been assigned yet through New York State Civil Service. Our local civil service has scheduled a test for entry-level firefighter. The test is scheduled for March 1st of this year. Interested individuals must sign up by January 30th, either online or in person here at City Hall. city is currently accepting proposals under a request for qualifications for a firm to conduct an Owasco Lake sub-watershed stream corridor assessment. Responses to that are due back on February 7th, and further information is available on the city webpage under bids and RFPs. And lastly, and maybe most importantly, work on the Hoops Pond restoration project is projected to begin around February 3rd. The pond will be drained to allow for sediment removal and partial wall repair. There will be some minor disruptions and inconvenience at the park and a mess, to put it in simple terms, in the park and potentially at times on the streets in the adjacent neighborhood. Mike Talbot, our Superintendent of Public Works, has drafted an informational letter that's going out to the adjacent property owners to inform them about the project. And will also provide regular updates via the city webpage. The project is expected to take approximately 3 to 4 weeks. And for the project, the city is partnering with the Cayuga County Soil and Water Conservation District to perform the work. Funding for the project was provided through a grant to New York State Capitol via DASNY. And the most impactful thing is, and what you may hear about as mayor and councilors, is we are beginning to drop the water level in Hoops Pond. So you may hear about that if folks are not hearing this message, or maybe they don't live in the neighborhood, they don't receive the letter. So just be aware that the dewatering process has to start a little bit in advance of the actual work. So that is ongoing. So that will more than likely be noticeable, and I'm sure will cause some communications. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, very good. Any questions for Mr. Duggar? Reports from members of council? Councilor Kent?
On February 8th, there's going to be a styrofoam recycling event. I'm just mentioning this for members of our community. It's being held by the Cayuga Climate Action organization, which is a nonprofit group that tries to help us advance toward having cleaner air and water. And they do a lot of work in the community. It's going to be held at the Phoenix building, and they're collecting styrofoam that is used for packaging for gifts, for medications you may get in the mail, general packaging for all the online shopping, but not for food debris or colored styrofoam products. So the information is posted as a courtesy on the Cayuga County Solid Waste Management website if you want more information on the event, and also how to contact the organization if you have any other questions. So again, it's February 8th from February 8th from 10 to 2. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Councilor Kent. Anyone else? All right. Moving on to financial resolution number 6 of 2025, establishing the 2025-2026 Seymour Library tax levy. We have a sponsor. Councilor Clarko, second by Councilor Overstreet Wilson.
Financial Resolution 6 of 2025, whereas the Seymour Public Library District, comprising the city of Auburn and the town of Owasco, was created by referendum on October 14, 1992, with subsequent addition of the Auburn School District portion of the town of Senate in 1996 and the town of Fleming in 2011. And whereas the share of the 2025 operating budget to be raised by the city of Auburn from a local assessment against real property within the boundaries of the municipality will be $587,857.90. And whereas the library has requested the city of Auburn advance half of this amount in February of 2025, now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city that $587,857.90 is to be levied on the 2025 city of Auburn property tax bills on a separate library tax line in an advance in the amount of $293,928.95 be paid in February 2025, which will reduce the August 2025 payment.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilor Kent?
Yes.
Counselor Overstreet Wilson.
Yes.
Counselor Clarko.
Aye.
Mayor Genatino.
Aye.
Carried.
Financial Resolution Number 7 of 2025, adopting the 2025 Cayuga County tax rate and the City of Auburn share of the Cayuga Community College charges. Do we have a sponsor? Counselor Overstreet Wilson, second by Counselor Clarko.
Financial Resolution 7 of 2025, whereas the City of Auburn has been notified by the Cayuga County Legislature that in accordance with a resolution adopted by the county legislature on December 12th, 2024, the City of Auburn's participation in 2025 county tax will be in the amount of $8,686,827.61 compared to last year's amount of $8,506,076.46, an increase of $180,751.15. The full amount to be raised by property taxes in the entire county is $45,421,756, which results in the city's share of the county tax levy being 19.12%, whereas the Cayuga County Legislature included within its resolution charges to the city taxpayers for the collection of costs related to the preparation and mailing of county tax bills within the city at an amount of $8,721.10. Whereas the City of Auburn has been notified by the county legislature that in accordance with the resolution 476 of 2024, that the City of Auburn's proportionate share for the Cayuga Community College charges is the amount of $254,439.72, which is to be added to the 2025 county tax to be raised from the city. Now therefore be it resolved, the City Council hereby adopts 2025 county tax rate in the City of Auburn in the amount of $6.839905 per $1,000 of assessed valuation for the city's share of the county tax and $0.200315 per $1,000 of assessed valuation for the city's share of the Cayuga Community College charges for a total county tax rate of $7.04022 per $1,000 of assessed valuation with an increase of .23407 per thousand. Be it further resolved that the Auburn City Council hereby adopts this 2025 county tax rate and authorize the preparation of the necessary tax bills.
Thank you. Any questions, discussion? Mr. Duggar, if I remember correctly, when I first got on council, college would come here periodically and kind of give an update on what was going on there. I know they've got some big changes in the Workforce Development Center. Can we reach out to the college and see if they'd be willing to give a presentation on things like enrollment, programming, and things like that? Thank you. Any other questions? Please call the roll.
Counselor Kent?
Yes.
Counselor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Counselor Clarko?
Aye.
Mayor Genatino.
Aye.
Carried.
Financial Resolution Number 8 of 2025, authorizing various operating budget transfers for fiscal year 2024-2025. Do we have a sponsor? Councilor Kent, second by Councilor Clark.
Financial Resolution 8, whereas the City of Auburn staff is requesting various operating and non-operating budget transfers for the 2024-25 fiscal year is outlined in Attachment A, whereas fund balance is being requested to cover shortfalls. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Auburn that the council does hereby authorize the transfers in the Attachment A for the 2024-25 fiscal year, and the resolution will take effect immediately.
Any questions or discussion? There was some email conversation with staff earlier in the week regarding the transfer for training. Ms. Leeson, would you mind explaining what that's for?
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. So at this point, we're requesting additional training funds for fire. The way that account has historically worked is that revenues coming in were netted against the expense. It's technically not proper accounting. So we've separated the revenue. When we budgeted the expense, the fire department is doing some expanded work, I believe, with Healthy Neighborhoods, some CPR classes, et cetera. Those are all being reimbursed back in, but the budget amount that we came up with initially was too low.
Any further questions? please call the roll. Thank you.
Counselor Kent?
Yes.
Counselor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Counselor Calarco?
Aye.
Mayor Jones?
Aye. Council Resolution number 9 of 2025, authorizing settlement of the real property tax assessment proceedings with 120 Genesee Street LLC versus Board of Assessment Review of the City of Auburn concerning a parcel of real property located at 120 Genesee Street. Do we have a sponsor? Councilor Kent, second by Councilor Overstreet Wilson.
Council Resolution 9, 2025, whereas the tax year 2019 through 2024, the petitioners, 120 Genesee Street LLC, filed actions challenging the property tax assessment of a parcel of real property located at 120 Genesee Street in the city of Auburn, Auburn City School District, and Cayuga County, designated as the property, and whereas Corporation Counsel Nate Garland appeared in the foregoing proceedings on behalf of the city of Auburn, Kevin McLeod appeared and intervened in these proceedings on behalf of Cayuga County, and Catherine Gavitt appeared and intervened in these proceedings on behalf of the Auburn Enlarged City School District, and whereas after extensive settlement negotiations, the parties and their attorneys have agreed that settlement as outlined in the attached proposed stipulation of settlement and judicial order would be in the best interest of all parties and would avoid further litigation expense, whereas the Auburn City School District Board of Education and the Cayuga County Legislature have already approved or will soon approve the proposed settlement as outlined in the attached document. Whereas now therefore be it resolved, the Auburn City Council does hereby authorize the Corporation Counsel, Nate Garland, to execute the attached stipulation of settlement and judicial order wherein the tax assessment of the property owned by the petitioner shall be adjusted as set forth therein, and 2 refunds shall be issued in the amount set forth therein.
Thank you. Mr. Garland, anything to add?
Mayor, I know that you've been closely involved with the development of this property. City staff, including our assistant city manager and director of capital projects, have helped the applicant or the petitioner in this scenario gain a $1 million grant from ESD. The city has put a lot of effort into developing and bringing this property to light and showing the developer that this is something that can happen in the city of Auburn. So there's big plans, and hopefully this is the last remaining hurdle, and the property can finally begin to take shape. I'll get off my soapbox now, Mayor, and just say that the particular settlement sets valuation through, up to and through the scheduled reval, which is something we generally tend to avoid, but, or try to avoid. It will allow for a revaluation based on capital improvements to the project, to the property rather, which will take place as it is developed, and that will start in 2027. So that is in keeping with the developer's time frame. So once we have a beautiful apartment building on the main thoroughfare of our city, our assessor's office, I'm sure, will do an able job placing a proper valuation on that rehabilitated property.
Very good. Just remember, there's only room for one of us on the soapbox at a time. Any other further questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Counselor Kent?
Yes.
Counselor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Counselor Calarco?
Aye.
Mayor Genesee?
Aye. Other business from the council? Hearing none. Mr. Duggar, do we have a request for executive session?
Yes, Mayor. It's probably going to sound worse than it really is, but we have 4 items related to the sale of real property, which is a good thing, and 2 items made confidential under attorney-client.
Very good. Council have any requests for executive session? Hearing no additional requests, do we have a sponsor for executive session? Councilor Overstreet Wilson, seconded by Councilor Clarko. Please call the roll.
Motion for an executive session at 5:57 PM. Counselor Kent?
Yes.
Counselor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Counselor Clarko?
Aye.
Mayor Genesee.
Aye. We'll be in recess for executive session.